Okay, I recently ran into a situation in my Chevelle that a Holley power valve was suspect. I had a situation where it was running rich, and we were looking at, what was the cause. Um, got a lot of suggestions, but end of the day, it was the power valve. Um, and I'm going to show in this video kind of how I determined that. So what we have here is a Mighty vacuum tester. Um, they come with a little cup like this, so attach it to the Mighty Vac. This is the one that was in my car and is at fault. So this is the gasoline side. When the vacuum amount is low, it's open and fuel flows through, comes out these little holes into the well and feeds into the carburetor. When vacuum is high, when you don't need that enrichment, vacuum pulls against this little diaphragm, closes the valve, and you're just running off the main jets. So how do you test this? Okay, this little cup is great. You can put the face of the power valve in that cup and it's sealed, and you put some pressure against it. There's some vacuum, I should say. See how the needle's going down? Because it won't hold a vacuum. So that one's no good. This is one that is good. I'll show you what it looks like. Attach it in the same way. Put some vacuum behind it. Vacuum doesn't change, it stays. So what this proves is that this bad one, somewhere in this diaphragm, has a leak. Now in my case it was a very slow leak, so the extra fuel was just kind of dribbling, but as vacuum was pulling against the valve, whatever small leak was in there was pulling fuel right through that hole in the valve. But it must be small because it wasn't emptying the bowl when the car was sitting, so it needed actual vacuum on this side of the valve to pull fuel out. So that's a very small leak. Now sometimes a power valve can blow and there's a big leak and fuel just run right out of it, empty the bowl if the car's sitting still. It's a pretty bad situation, but that's pretty obvious. This case it was just running rich, it ran poorly. So I just had a small leak, but small enough to add too much fuel. Runs rich. The spark plugs were black and sooty, which was the first indication that it was running rich, so I knew my problem was a fuel problem, not an ignition problem or an air problem. It was simply too much fuel. And so looked at a couple things, but this was the obvious culprit, and turned out it was. So again, testing it, put some vacuum against it, it can't hold a vacuum. So anyway, that's one good way to test a Holley power valve. Whether it's got a big leak or a small leak, you'll see that on the gauge. Then it won't hold a vacuum. If you're having trouble making good seal, you can put a little grease against the cup. This one's still relatively new and flexible, so I really didn't need to do it. But you do need to hold it firmly against the cup so it gets a good seal. It's a pretty easy way to test, especially if you already have the Mighty Vac. Like I said, my Mighty Vac kit came with this little cup, so I was all set. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I appreciate you taking a look. Just wanted to share that bit of information with everyone. See you later.